Hi everyone, trying to create content now for my business in 2026, and I just remembered something that happened to my husband in the year 2023 before his passing this year. So we sell electronics and home appliances, and most times like churches, mosques, like schools, offices, they come to us to purchase like high numbers of electronics and home appliances. So on this fateful day, a woman and two men came to our store in Wuse, and they met my husband on ground, and they gave him like a list of things they wanted. They say it was for a church. So they gave him a list of appliances they wanted for the church. Churches these days use AC, television, and all of those things. So they gave him the list of the electronics they wanted for the church, and they introduced themselves as the committee members, arranging like trying to buy stuff for the church. So it was so real that you would not even notice that there was something like fishy among all of these people. So he gave them the list of the prices of things they requested for, and they left. After about 2 weeks, they came back and they said they were ready to buy. And nobody on earth will tell me like the whole drama didn't act normal, because obviously churches these days, when you come and you request for something, you go back to give maybe your pastor or somebody feedback, and then the church will release the money and you come back to buy. So that was everything. Like that was my husband's thought as at that time. So when they came back, they agreed on the price. The total was about 9.6 million naira there, but I can't really figure out the particular like the total sum, but it's 9 point something million naira. So he gave them, like he wrote invoice for them, and they told him that they would issue him a check, which we accept check. But the thing is, we pay in the check before we supply you. But because of the trust my husband had for church, he didn't really pay attention to I must pay the check before I like supply the electronics. So he followed them to the church, like to build more trust. He now followed them down to the church. The church is in Abuja in Life Camp. He followed them. He saw their overall pastor. Like the check was handed over to him in the pastor's office. And after everything, he took the check to bank. The bank he operates with as at that time was Access Bank, and he took the check to the bank because it was written like they wrote the check in response to Access Bank, like Access Bank will be the one to pay, something like that. So he carried the check to Access Bank. Mind you, before, like after he collected the check, he now carried some of the appliances. Like he was the one that went to the church with the appliances. So he carried some generators, some ACs, and went to drop in the church, and went to Access Bank to drop the check there. I think this thing happened on a Thursday or either Wednesday or Thursday. So he dropped the check at the bank and supplied like some of the electronics to the church. So getting to the bank on Friday morning, no bank work, just Monday to Friday. Getting to the bank on Friday, like throughout that Thursday, he didn't receive the money. So early morning Friday, he went to the bank, and when he asked them, like they just dropped the check one corner. Like these people didn't even process the check, they didn't do anything. If only they had done, like they had started processing the check, we would have figured out that there was an issue on ground. But they didn't do anything. The lady just dropped the check one side. So out of anger, he just collected the check because he knows that as long as it's not like same bank, it will not drop that same day. I think it will take 24 hours to drop with separate banks. So out of anger, the check was from Polaris Bank. So he just asked somebody, because at that time my sister was working with the bank. So he asked her, he says, is it possible that I can open an account today, like process this today and all of that? And she told him yes. So he just collected the check from Access Bank, went to Polaris Bank, opened an account, like opened the account so that like they'll just process everything immediately. And before you know, they were delaying him. Oh, what's happening? Like, what's going on? Let me go now. These people refused to allow him go. They refused to tell him what was even happening. The next thing, he saw police there, they brought handcuff, and they just held his two hands together. You're under arrest. Like, why am I under arrest? What did I do? I only came here to open an account in respect to a check I was issued by a church for supply I made. That was how they carried him to police station. That night, we looked for this man almost all the police station in Abuja. Like the name they were calling, the name of the police station they were calling, like it would have been easier if only they had said secretariat. Like it would have been very, very easy. But I've forgotten the name they called. So like we're just going round and round and round. God willing, we found the police station that day. And now you the scam. Now you still sleep for police station. He slept in the police cell, I think, for 2 days or so, either one night or 2 nights. I can't really recall the night, but he slept in the cell. So he was told to write his statement, which he did, and the letter invited the pastor to the station. Like, God will help us, honestly. He came to the station, even the statements, yeah, when he was writing a statement, they were even assisting him and telling him what to write and all of that. And after he finished writing the statement, they let him go. He left that night until the next morning. The next morning, only to hear that the pastor had gone to submit one of the generators to a police station in Life Camp. So now, how did you go and submit generator that you said somebody brought to your church? The explanation of the pastor, okay, so what went wrong was that the check was a clone check. That was why my husband was arrested from the bank. They discovered it was a clone check of a particular church. Now he was trying to explain to them that this check, I don't know what happened to. I don't know where they came from. But I went to the church, the same church in Life Camp. Like this check was issued to me in the pastor's office, and I only came here to cash out the money. This is the pastor, and that was when they now invited the pastor. But now my question as at that time was, why did he go to like return the generator in a police station in Life Camp? Like what went wrong? We now later discovered that what's like according to their own reports, they say according to the pastor, he said that he doesn't know those people, that they only came for Thanksgiving. And that after those things were supplied to the church, after my husband brought those things to the church that day, that after my husband left, that those people like brought another vehicle, loaded those stuffs in their own vehicle and left. dropping one, like they dropped one generator in the church and told the pastor that that one was for him. So that was the generator. He went to drop at the police station that day that my husband was arrested. So now, help me ask, how would like 3 people come to your office, issue a check to somebody, like in your presence? That was why that check was issued to a businessman. And then out of trust for Christianity, out of trust of church, he carried some of those goods to your church, which you were there. Your security man was there when those goods came in. And then you are saying that after he dropped those goods and he left, that those same 3 people, the 2 men and a woman, brought another vehicle, pick up the goods, dropping one generator for the church and left. Like, how does it make sense? How does it make sense? And funny enough, 50%, I would say 50% of those items were not even for my husband. He picked up some of those things from his neighbors because he didn't have some of those things, so he had to pick up from his neighbors. And believe you me, that he had to pay those money to his neighbors because obviously nobody then sent you, maybe go collect loan check. So he had to pay those money of the things he didn't even eat. Pastor, go free. No payment. Oh, pastor went scot-free. Even the generator, after the pastor brought the generator to the police station, like there was so much, like plenty story. Before we even collected that generator, it took weeks before the generator was like the one single generator we could recover. It took weeks before we could even collect that generator again. And that debt, this happened I think 5th of November 2023. That debt kept moving 2024. My husband fell sick in 2024. Those people he was owing were still calling him until his passing in 2025. We still have outstanding debt of 500,000 from this pastor and church scam. You pushed, like, I don't understand how you call yourself a pastor, you call yourself a man of God, you call yourself a Christian, and you have the mind to scam somebody in the church premises. In the church premises, you get mind scam person for church premises. I was going through my husband's documents the other day, and I saw the check, like the photocopy of the check, because the bank refused to release the original one to us. I saw the photocopy of the check, and it just brought back memories, because that whole stuff, he added to his problem. Because imagine somebody that has high blood pressure now going through all of pay me my money, money you did not eat, money you did not spend recklessly, and all of that. Gideon, there's lights. Money you did not spend recklessly, and all of that. You just keep on paying debt that you did not know where it came from, because you had trust for Christianity, you had trust for a pastor, you have trust for a church. You can imagine, he's late now, but the debt is still hanging. 500,000. 500,000. Even when he was sick, they were still calling, pay my money, pay my money, pay my money, pay my money. The debt of this 500,000, the girl that's like the sales girl that gave him one of those generators, she even died in 2024. Like, she died before my husband. I think she died July 2024, thereabouts. The girl that supplied the generator to my husband. She died in 2024, and then my husband died in 2025. And you feel that you will go free. It can never be, because you put basic for person here, so that person carry basic till he died. Like the sales girl died, my husband also passed. Can't go free. Both you, both your children will reap the repercussion of that particular thing you did and your accomplice, because the pastor said he doesn't know them. Okay, they were not asking the pastor, you don't know them, you don't know their name, because how can somebody bring something to you and even a little prayer, you will not pray for that person? Is it possible? He said he doesn't know them, he doesn't know their name. I just remember this stuff today, and I decided to say it again so that the universe would hear me and the universe would take notes. That I said the pastor and his accomplice that scammed my husband in 2023 with a sum of 9.6 million thereabouts will not go scot-free, as long as they put debt on that man's head and he had that debt in his mind until his passing. They will also test, them too, they will also test it. They will not have peace. Their children will not have peace. Their children will not have peace. For the sins of their fathers, they will not have peace.